So what's the best way for me to start investing in Bitcoin? Do I use one of these altcoins like Litecoin or Ethereum?
Well, there's literally thousands and thousands of altcoins now.
Right.
And
they're all just, so what's the difference between most of these altcoins and the original Bitcoin?
they all have various, some of them like Litecoin I told you about, they were just like, they even like dubbed themselves when they came out like Bitcoin is gold and we'll be silver. They had a faster block time. There's going to be more of them emitted in the end because of that faster block time, I'm pretty sure. And but literally it was just a copy and paste of the code. There's no new functionality.
Just trying to rebrand it and make money.
Thing. And it worked out, and it's still a fairly valuable coin, you know, despite
what is
so then there's a lot of other ones though that they'll add functionality of some kind. So there's a lot of experimentation happening. So Ethereum,
this kid Vitalik, right?
Vitalik, yeah.
He's getting flown. He's meeting with
Vladimir
Putin and the Kremlin, and he's all over. Like, what's so special about this kid?
I think he's Canadian, and he is, but he's Russian, son of Russian immigrants. So.
He's a scary-looking kid.
He's funny. There's lots of really funny memes of him.
I bet.
Is a famous meme. Vitalik laughing. Anyhow, I've met him in 2014 at a conference before Ethereum launched, and he was just a kid that was writing for Bitcoin. Was it Bitcoin Magazine? Yeah, Bitcoin Magazine. He was just doing some writing for them, and he was super interested in Bitcoin. He was a programmer. And I mean, at the time, he couldn't have been over 20 years old, and so yeah, he just I think he actually was trying to pitch some of his ideas to the Bitcoin sort of core developing team, the guys who kind of maintain Bitcoin, but in the end, he just ended up launching Ethereum, and it's basically it's called a smart contracts platform. So it just adds a bunch of...
That's what Ethereum is?
Yeah, it adds a bunch of sort of a code layer on top of the currency. And actually, he never really envisioned, according to him, he never envisioned Ethereum itself being like a currency. It's just the token that everything runs on all these smart contracts. So smart contracts can do things like basically, instead of Bitcoin where you just, okay, I want to send it to you, I'm going to send it to you now. Okay, did you get it? Yes, I got it. Bitcoin can do some other things, and it can actually do smart contracts too. It just hasn't really been built out. But instead of that, you can make a lot more complicated things happen on Ethereum. Like you can make a smart contract that, say, if you put your coins in it, it'll send them out to everybody in 3 weeks or something. It'll send them out to these 4 people or something like that. Or if you want to have a job done or something, you could send it to a smart contract, and once that way the guy doing the job knows that the funds are there and locked in the smart contract, and then maybe once you guys both agree that everything's done to satisfaction, then the funds get dispersed to whoever needs them. And then there's lots of more complicated use cases, but one of the main ones that's happening right now, like as we speak, that's kind of a big deal. You asked me, where can you get Bitcoin? Okay, where can you get this? That was your initial question. So the answer to that a year ago, well, the answer to that now is still there's centralized exchanges. So there's people who have set up services like the one I told you about earlier, BitInstant, where you just buy Bitcoin with a credit card. One of the earliest ones, well, the earliest one I think was one called MT Gox, which stands for Magic the Gathering Online Exchange.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one.
It was basically eBay. It was based in Japan for trading Magic cards, which is like a
I know Magic
card game.
Yeah.
So so they had this like marketplace kind of thing, and the guy that bought it was this French guy. What was his name? Wow, I can't believe I forgot his name. Anyhow, he bought it and decided that he wanted to add like a Bitcoin market. Like, okay, you can buy Bitcoins here. And so he just put a thing up where they were selling Bitcoins because I guess he was mining them or whatever. And it became like a huge thing. And then they ditched they were still called Mt. Gox or MT Gox. But they ditched the card trading thing altogether. It was gone. They just became a Bitcoin exchange.
Really?
So you could wire them money. and then they would send you Bitcoin or ACH money to them. And there were no restrictions pretty much whatsoever. But they went down in 2014 kind of epically.
How did they go down?
I think it was a hack. It could have been an inside job. It's still under investigation.
Oh, and they lose like millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, lots of money. It happened sometime in early 2014. Their website went down first. What happened first? They'd have a bunch of scares. First of all, like it wasn't very well run.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd had problems for like ever with scaling to meet this huge demand that was coming in, and so they'd have problems, and they usually had fixed them, and they had like a big lead in the whole kind of network effect. Like they were the big name, and then one day, I think in like January, February of 2013, they stopped doing Bitcoin withdrawals. So they suspended with Bitcoin withdrawals, and people were like, "Whoa, what's going on with that?" And then their website was still up, so people could still log in, and you could actually trade Bitcoin between users still. And so this one guy had this brilliant idea. It was really brilliant. He made another exchange. He called it bitcoinbuilder.com. And so he was like, okay, if you send me your coins on Mt. Gox, I'll credit you on my website, and you can exchange your Mt. Gox coins for real Bitcoin for people who want to deposit and buy. So it's a way for basically people to speculate on whether they thought Mt. Gox would come online again or not, which I actually partook in and lost some money on. Yeah. I know some people lost a lot of money doing that though. So yeah, it was dumb of me. But so yeah, basically I went on and bought. I sent Bitcoin to this guy, bitcoinbuilder.com, and I bought. So if I had sent one Bitcoin in there or something, I could buy like 4 Gox coins, right? Because so if Mt. Gox just was like, okay, everything's fine, bam, I would have had 4 Bitcoin basically that I could have withdrawn. But of course, that's not what happened. They went down. One day their website went down, and it came out later that they were hacked. And then there was another exchange implicated that went down a couple years later called BTC-E. They're a Russian exchange. And the FBI took them down somehow. I don't know. But
really?
They said they were implicated actually in the Mt. Gox hack. So I think Mt. Gox, that's still like the people who have like a bankruptcy claims against Mt. Gox because they filed bankruptcy. So anybody who had coins there could maybe get something back through the bankruptcy process. It's still ongoing as far as I know.
What happened to all those coins that got stolen?
They went out and got laundered through in various places. I think BTC-E was involved in that somehow. But again, you can kind of track them. Like theoretically, you can track them. But I'm not sure if, since it's all under investigation, I'm not sure if any of that has been made public. What happened to them?
Oh. Yeah, because you would think it would all be trackable, right? You'd be able to figure out where everything went.
Right, but I don't know.
Even if
I'm
it's
sure there are
hacked.
people. I'm sure there are people that have gone down that rabbit hole. I haven't particularly, but that brings me to a sort of another point, though. There's a saying in crypto, since we're talking about exchanges and how to buy it. There's a lot of exchanges now in the U.S. It's not like the old days though, where you just send money and you get Bitcoin back. Like it's pretty heavily regulated now. Which has its good things and its bad things. I'd say mostly bad. But, they have to verify who you are, like follow all the sort of anti-money laundering, know your customer laws. The big ones are Coinbase and Gemini. Of those two, I kind of like Gemini better.
Gemini, that's the Winklevoss.
Yes.
Winklevoss Twins.
Winklevoss Twins, the Gemini Twins, right?
Okay.
That's their exchange that they built. And but the thing is, when a lot of people, and I know a lot of people who've been in Bitcoin for a long time, they still do this. They leave their coins on the exchange, like in the exchange wallet. And essentially what you're doing then is you're holding your coins in somebody else's ledger, just like you have it in a bank. Like if you have your money in your bank, if that bank becomes insolvent or something, there's FDIC insurance, which is another rabbit hole, to insure you. But essentially, that money's gone if somebody if the bank becomes insolvent. So if these exchanges, so when Mt. Gox became insolvent and went under, and those coins got, it was game over for. I know people that lost hundreds of bitcoins on Mt. Gox, and so it's just gone, man. It's the Wild West,
Yeah.
And so whenever you're sending them to these exchanges, you're taking your Bitcoin, which is kept track of on the Bitcoin blockchain. So that means you have an account balance on the Bitcoin blockchain ledger. That's the one that I told you that's shared across all the computers and everything. There's, short of the entire internet shutting down, there's nothing that can really take, or you losing your access to those by losing, not taking care of your security well enough, or losing your hard drive dies and you didn't have backups. Short of that, there's nobody can take that money from you, those Bitcoin from you.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can go and seize them easily unless they physically take your computer and force you to send them out. But once you put them on a third-party exchange, it's just an entry on their bank ledger. They control the actual asset, the Bitcoin. You don't control it anymore. So if they go under, if they get hacked or whatever, your stuff's all at risk of that. And they're pretty big. A lot of these exchanges, they're pretty big honeypots.
Mm-hmm.
Hackers are always trying to get into these exchange wallets.
Right.
They've gotten very good at, the exchanges have gotten very good at securing the coins.
How the hell do you pay taxes on your Bitcoin? If it's so volatile, the price goes up and down.
Well,
what if you would have bought it at $10,000 and in December it's worth $30,000?
The way the IRS handles it is that if you, it's just like any other investment. So the same thing with stocks. You can hold a stock, it can go up to 100 and then back down to what you bought it for. It's they count it whenever you convert it back to US dollars. So that's the taxable event, is when you convert it back to US dollars. Yeah. So you can hold Bitcoin, you can buy it at $100 and then it goes up to $1,300 and then it goes back down to $200. And as long as you didn't sell at any point in there, there's no taxable event.
Okay.
So, but the crypto universe and taxation is a nightmare, frankly.
I bet.
Yeah, you'd have to get a specialized accountant if you're doing anything crazy with crypto to deal with that. But if you're just buying the coins and holding them, stuff like that, it's pretty straightforward, just like buying anything else and holding it.
Okay.
So.